I mean, I may not be fully prepared for this review, since I've actually just finished recording the one for the Odyssey LCD2 close, still have the same shirt on, but then I thought I did so much testing with the Monoprice Monolith M1060 for the last few days that, yeah, I could, after owning them for about 4 months now, finally get to the review. And a sign that they are really good is that I own them, and I still own them, and I still like them. But I also have to mention a few things. Due to time constraints, I actually did not get to open them up, because I know they can be opened up, put a nice grill on it, and everything what was possibly broken or needed fixing on the M1060s should be fixed on these and made even better. I can definitely tell you that they are better. I mean, there is no discussion which you should get, either or one. M1060C, even though maybe you want open, I would not recommend the 1060s, even though they are open and these one are closed. Just open these up if you want to, but even closed, I would say, yeah, let's get into what's in the box. You get this huge carrying case, and I just wanted to show it and then throw it away, because that doesn't need much talking about. Obviously the headphones, the cable, which is I think 1.8 meters long, could be a little bit longer, because where I use them it's a little bit already on the short side. We get a 1/4 inch adapter. Cable is good because it never tangles up. It's maybe not the most premium one because it's not maybe super thick or so, but I like it. I think it makes the job really, really good. Now let's get to the headphones. Well, what those don't do really good is the headband. It's still an absolute clusterfuck, because I mean, it does not kind of stay in shape. And I mean, if you copy, I don't know which brand, I don't want to get into that, but please do something like this, which is pretty much perfection. So this headband is definitely not. Now, otherwise build quality is good. Also here, very nicely done. Nice wood cover. I don't care if it's real wood or not. It feels good. It feels high quality. They feel a little bit on the heavy side with about 586 grams. So definitely nothing you won't notice on your head. And as you can see, you can actually turn them around completely the wrong way, which, yeah, just proves once again that this is not a fully thought through system. You can change the size. I'm actually already on a way bigger one than I usually need on many other headphones. Other than that, the comfort is good though. About the ear pads, very thick. So touching something inside here should be pretty much impossible. Also, the size is great. It's not really memory foam. At least it doesn't feel like that to me, but it feels good at quality. Yeah, okay. It does not feel nearly as good as something on the LCD2C or on the LCD2 closed. Those just feel noticeably more premium, but after all, these cost about $330 compared to $800 or $900. So let's just put them on and see how they look. Yeah, not really subtle. They look more something like you would put on the Frankenstein monster, because the doctor was Frankenstein, right? So yeah, this looks massive. Obviously not nearly as subtle as the LCD2C, which I think for something as big and as massive, subtle. The 10 LCD2C closed though, they don't really look much better either. I mean, comfort, yes, completely something else. So let's get into that. Comfort is good. I mean, weight distribution is not perfect because they kind of just dangle on your head. I mean, they don't fall off, that's a good thing, and they are comfortable, because I can have this on for hours and hours and nothing is really an issue, because my ears don't really get too warm, because underneath there's still place for breathing. They just don't sit particularly well or amazing, but the comfort is fine. So even though they look horrible and they're weird to use and they're maybe not the most subtle, convenient one to use, the comfort is absolutely there. And since we're already talking about the pads and so on, isolation is good. Pretty solid standard for a closed bag. Leakage is also very minimal. Are they easy to drive? Actually, yes, I would say quite easy, especially for a planer. I would say about, at least from a scale from 1 to 100, where my LCD are set to 80, these are about 10 less. That's good. And I mean, if you get something like this, even though it's maybe not quite fully high-end like the LCDs, you will have a proper, at least a decent headphone jack. I mean, something like an iFi Black Edition and so on should easily work out. The LE did not really do it for me, the IDSD Nano. So that's that. Now let's talk about sound signature. And if you think these are great for gaming, I might be totally wrong, but I don't think so. Because similar to what the LCD2 closed do, I think the sound set is quite wide. definitely sounds close. But I don't think the imaging works well, because I also heard already someone telling me that the 1060s have an amazing imaging. I don't see that, because if I use these for gaming, especially for shooters, and wanted to kind of pinpoint something, I mean, I kind of get, yeah, it's supposed to be here, it's supposed to be there, but with precision, especially the distance, I cannot judge it all. And for this case, just get something like the 580X, 58X, 580, yeah, 58X, yeah, that's it. Or get the LCD2C if you want something on a high-end audio level with a planar, because these have a smaller soundstage, but it's a more airy, open one. But they have the imaging where you can pinpoint precisely, locate everything, and especially know the distances. This is something that I did not get here. But I guess what most people will do on these is listen to music. And here's what I have to gonna say. I like the signature, because they are all pretty neutral, pretty, I would say, accurate, natural especially, maybe not super flat, because I would say that the sub bass is pushed a little bit, but they go down very low, and this bass, the sub bass, but as well as the normal bass, has quite a nice amount of punch and some impact force behind it, which, for example, I was missing on the LCD2 Close. Those kind of made a poof poof bass, and these make a boom boom, but no, more at a boom boom or a pump pump bass, and that is nice. So for electronic music, these deliver the amazing planar magnetic bass that I like so much. I mean, obviously, my preferred choice still, and nothing will change that anytime soon, at least I think so, is the LCD2C. I know, shouldn't compare closed with open, but these are not comparable anyway, since they are not similar at all, because the LCD2C, way closer, but open. Way more mid-watt pushed, not nearly as neutral, darker, different. These are way brighter. These are way more neutral. These are way more flat, but with something special that I was also missing on the LCD2C, because the bass is on a really good level. You get the punch, you get the depth, you get the resolution, you get the details, you get the response. All that is there. And the mids, something that I personally prefer, are pushed a little bit. They are a little bit isolated, pushed forward to instrumental of the instruments, and I just like that. It's not a lot. It's, I would say, just about enough that I'm fine with it. I prefer a little bit more, therefore I have the LCD2Cs. But it's fine for me, because I can still focus on what I personally prefer more, the vocals. But I can just as well enjoy the instruments, and everything else is very, very nicely balanced. The highs, they go very far up, but not with any real sibilance. There is some minimal sibilance there, but so minimal that I personally don't see this as an issue. The clarity is there, not quite the open airy feel, but it's a closed one anyways, after all, so let's just keep that in mind. And it's not like you would really miss out on details, because I said this in my LCD2 Closed review. I mean, you would expect for a price of around $330 compared to $900, that the LCD2C does something significantly mind-blowingly better, like delivering you so much more details. And now here's the part where I have to just mention it again. I am a passionate headphone reviewer, but not a professional headphone reviewer. I don't have graphs to back things up. I don't have specs. For me, it's about the listening experience. And the way I listen to headphones, and I do this after all for a long enough time that I think what I'm saying is not completely garbage, that using it just normally, sitting back, relaxing, listening to music, I don't really hear anything less here on these compared to the Odysseys. And I actually have to say, and I said it on the LCD2C review, or the LCD2 Closed review, that, I mean, just from a signature standpoint, just from a listening, pure enjoyment perspective, I enjoy these a little bit more, because they sound a little bit warmer, but not really warm, quite neutral, like I said. Nice bass, nice mids, not really too pushed, nice subtle but greatly balanced highs that deliver me a nice open, not airy, but a feel-good vibe, because this is what I can do with these. I can listen to everything with these. Okay, like I also said with the LCD-X, which is kind of still my reference when it comes to epic sound or something spectacular. Some certain tracks on the LCD-X sounded like nothing else. They sounded so spectacular. Therefore, a few other things just sounded very good. Here, I would say on the LCD2C, everything sounds great. Nothing sounds epic, but therefore nothing just sounds very good. Everything sounds great for my listening taste. Because, for example, I am someone who wants vocals a lot, and I listen mostly to metal, rock, whatever kind of that, and some electronic, and these just work out so well, because the vocals. I can fully emphasize on it, but they're so warm and a little bit dark, and that's just gives me a great mood. But as a counterbalance, if I want something a little bit more uplifting, that sounds a little bit fresher, but not quite super like bright or like what the Biodynamic Amaran does. They do this in a really nice manner. They are very well suited for everything else. But then again, I also have to say, if you want something that's not that far off in terms of general sound. I mean, smaller soundstage here, but I don't know. Some people say that the 5.8X or the 660S, which is pretty much the same headphone, sounds claustrophobic, which I found to be the case on the 600, but on the 660S or the 5.8X, I think it's not big, but it's not small enough to be claustrophobic. And whenever I put these on, I mean, this must be the most open, airy feeling headphone that I've tried in a long time. It just feels so boundaryless. What was the point? So yeah, but otherwise nice bass as well, and nice mids and so on. And the overall soundstage, I mean, the signature very similar, but here you get the planar magnetic bass that is a little bit more responsive, and it really comes down to what you want. But I'm just gonna say this as a conclusion already. For about $340, I mean, if you import them at like 400, I guess, these are totally worth it. And I think there is no discussion needed if you would get these or the 1060s. I mean, if you open them up as it's supposed to just work out, and even if you don't, I mean, if you want something closed, planar magnetic, I mean, yeah, not the best comfort and so on. Premium feel though, they don't really lack, just because of the system of the headband. It just doesn't feel so good. But a sound experience, I mean, on a level that I would not expect to get on a just about $300 headphone, which is also what I wouldn't expect on the Sennheiser, because the Sennheiser usually, if you would compare them with the 660S, cost $500, and then these are noticeably cheaper and on a similar level. But I don't really like the comfort of these. I'm gonna get into that in the review. It's still not my favorite choice, but these I can have on for hours and hours, and I especially can enjoy music for hours and hours without missing anything. Because what these do so well, vocals, especially female vocals, have this nice warm touch to them, but this soft clarity, details, it sounds really good. And also, one thing that, once again, I have to mention that the LCD2 Closed can't do all that well, male voices, because on some points with the kind of dips and so on that it had, those felt a little bit thin. Here they sound really rich, really pleasant. Not obviously as pushed as on the LCD2C, but I mean, you pay noticeably less. And you make some compromise, like generally the outer shell. But just the driver quality, the detail that you get for here, the response, the precision, the sound signature that you could even maybe mix on them. But I mean, you would get these to listen to music and enjoy the hell out of it. And is there anything wrong with them, or do they anything wrong? I mean, just in terms of sound, for the price. And I couldn't really think of anything, because the soundstage, like I said, maybe not that great for gaming, because it's a wide soundstage if you like that, but the imaging didn't quite impress me. For music, it's noticeably less of an issue, like for example for games, but for games I would not use these. But then the mids really nicely pleasant, because they don't really integrate the vocals too much, that I feel they are kind of too integrated. I want them a little bit isolated so I can focus on them, but that's something that shouldn't be an issue. Not for anyone else, because that's what most people actually prefer, at least from the comments. Let me actually know this. I would just like to know this from my viewers. What kind of vocals do you prefer? Do you like them pushed forward, a little bit more isolated, so you can focus on those? Or do you like them in one line, so everything is pretty much on the same level? Because you can make leveled great as well. But I personally think it's easier to make it pushed and enjoyed, at least from my standpoint. So that's just so I know that when I make some other reviews. And obviously, once again, as on the LCD2 Closed review, I'm just going to ask on it, just because I want a little bit more feedback on the reviews here. Do you miss anything out on my headphone reviews? Because I said it, no graphs, no measurements or anything like that. It's more of an experience report, where I just talk about the things, the way I experience music on these. Because I'm not into mixing, I mean, why would I care for all the possible amount of details and certain things in the music if it doesn't really experience my music listening? Because yes, there are some sort of people that want to listen music and listen to every little detail. They want everything as accurate and as precise as possible. But I mean, that's a little bit too demanding of me. I want to sit, listen to music and enjoy it. But if I have to focus on certain things, I mean, that's work. I don't listen music for work. That's something you can do if you do it professionally. Like I said, I don't. And I enjoy these, and I can easily recommend these. I don't think it could be any easier to recommend something like this. Just as, for example, the 58X, I can just say this before the review. These are a no-brainer if you want whatever they are, and these are an absolute no-brainer for whatever they are. And I guess if you watch the review, you know what I mean by that. But other than that, I wish you a nice day. Until next time, bye.